Hey guys, this is Jason. I'm reviewing One Battle After Another, directed by Paul Thomas Anderson and stars Leonardo DiCaprio, Benicio del Toro, and Sean Penn. And it's about DiCaprio as a former revolutionary person who goes off the grid for 16 years just to take care of his daughter Willa and go into hiding. But then his past comes back to haunt him when an old enemy of his, played by Sean Penn, comes back to try to find him. And DiCaprio's daughter gets taken by some people and he has to go out and keep himself away from the police so that he can go find his daughter so that she doesn't get to learn the truth about him. Now, before we talk about this film, I have noticed that not a lot of people have been subscribing to my channel. So if you have been enjoying what I've been doing so far, then please leave a like and subscribe to my channel so you don't miss a thing, and it helps my channel grow and get better. Paul Thomas Anderson is one of those directors that likes to have a lot of long takes and moments when characters are just thinking inside their heads and you have to figure out what they're saying just from their facial expressions. And a lot of his films have that kind of thing, where movies like There Will Be Blood has a lot of moments where characters are just thinking and you have to figure out what they're saying, and there's not a lot of dialogue in some scenes. And he would have a lot of long takes that are supposed to mix with the style of his films, like in Boogie Nights. And he would also have some shots in his films that you wouldn't normally see in most films, and those shots would make you feel like you're in the moment with the characters. And the cinematography in this film definitely has that, where it has some shots that you wouldn't expect to see, and they surprisingly work. And this movie has a lot of creative shots like that, where you see some shots that you wouldn't normally see, but they work for the film. And the cinematography here is definitely a highlight, where you just have characters in wide shots just talking to each other, or where you have scenes where characters are just walking out at night and you actually get the feeling that it's really nighttime. They don't use like some random RE lights to shine their faces just so that you can see the actors in those nighttime scenes. They keep them dark most of the time with only a couple of lights in the background just to make you feel like you're watching a scene that actually takes place in nighttime, making those scenes feel realistic. And that's one of the things that made me have fun watching this film. I thought this was a really good movie. Now, this is gonna be a slow burn for most people, and a lot of Paul Thomas Anderson's films have that slow burn feel. So if you don't like a lot of slow moments where characters are just talking and it just feels like it's going too slow for you, then you might feel bored watching this film. But if you don't mind the slow pace at all and you're invested in the characters and you like what this film is setting up, then you will have a fun time watching this movie. And when I found out that parts of this film were going to take place in Sacramento, that did kind of get me excited, because like I said in the movie Sacramento, we don't get a lot of movies that were filmed here. So it is kind of cool that I got to see a film in the theater where I got to see some locations and some trains that would pass by that I would recognize. And it was cool seeing them film a scene in this one building, which, by the way, the building that they're filming in is actually the same building that my dad works at. So that was pretty cool how they showed it in this film. Another thing I got praised in this film is the sound design. They definitely make you feel like you're in horrible events that are happening, like whenever you would hear gunfire from a distance or on screen, or when you would see explosions happening on screen. They make you feel like you're seeing all of that happen in front of you. And of course, the acting here is top notch. Leonardo DiCaprio is excellent in this film. It is definitely one of his best performances. And I hope that he does get an Oscar nomination for his role, and hopefully a win, because he gets nominated for a lot of his big films and he doesn't get that many Oscar awards. He did win one for The Revenant, but for films like Django Unchained, The Departed, Wolf of Wall Street, those roles are the kind of roles that he should have won an Oscar for, because he's fantastic in all four of those films. I mean, look at the energy that he gives in Wolf of Wall Street. Like, he was on fire in that film, like the kind where he should have won an Oscar for that. And hopefully he does get an Oscar nomination and win for this role, because he is really good as a father who has a troubled past that he's trying to get away from. Like, he's been doing a lot to make sure that both him and his daughter try to stay off the grid by not using real phones or anything that relates to the internet. But when his daughter gets taken and both of them get into trouble, he has to try to come out of hiding and find her, and of course not get caught. but is also having issues with his daughter, and she wants to have a normal life, but he won't let her because of those reasons. And it becomes a big shock for her once she starts to slowly learn more about him and why he's covering the truth from her, which leads me to one of the best things about this film, the emotional part of the story between Leonardo DiCaprio and his wife, where in the beginning we see them as a couple, but we also get to see how their relationship fell apart and how DiCaprio unfortunately had to take care of Willa all by himself for 16 years. And when you see him try to be a better father and trying to find her, you start to root for this guy and you want him to save his daughter. Sean Penn's character is definitely different compared to the other characters that he's played in the past, where his character also has a dark past where he's been trying to look for DiCaprio and wants to kill him. Sean Penn's villain is definitely over the top and has some urges, I'll just say that make him a very over-the-top and disturbing villain. And his character does some things that make him very crazy and messed up, and Sean Penn really went for that, and he does a really good job as the character. Everyone else in the acting also did a really good job, like Benicio del Toro is great, Regina Hall is really good, and Chase Infinity was great as Willa as well. No one in the acting was the weakest link. They all gave it their all in this film. There's also some subtle humor that did make me laugh quite a bit. Like in particular, there's this one scene where DiCaprio is trying to call this person to try to figure out where his daughter is and what location he needs to be at. And he is constantly trying to ask this guy he's calling to where he needs to be. And he's just trying to come up with some stupid reason where he shouldn't tell him. And that leads to some funny moments. Now, as for issues, this movie does have some moments that do drag a bit, and this movie is 2 hours and 40 minutes, and you can feel it sometimes, where it does focus on some scenes that would take a really long time to finish, where you go, okay, can we move on to another scene please, because this is taking too long. Another issue is that there is a side villain that's introduced halfway into the film that felt shoehorned and didn't need to be there, and was also kind of a pointless side villain that didn't really need to be there. Like, if you remove that character, then this movie would have been the same. One Battle After Another is a really good movie with great acting and engaging story, great humor, and really good cinematography. If you're a fan of Paul Thomas Anderson's films and you don't mind the slow pacing, then you are gonna love this film, just like a lot of people love movies like There Will Be Blood and The Master. I also strongly recommend you watching this in theaters. Don't wait until streaming, don't wait until DVD or Blu-ray. Go see this film in the theaters. It is definitely worth your time. Seriously, do not skip out on this one. This is a really good movie that deserves to be seen on the big screen. I'm gonna give One Battle After Another an A-. Now, I know you guys have noticed that the background behind me looks different, and that is because I am getting started on my second year of doing Halloween reviews. I did that last year where I reviewed a lot of movies that are either horror films or take place during Halloween or something I like to watch during Halloween, and I'm going to be doing that again this year, so look forward to that. So guys, if you have seen One Battle After Another, what did you think about it? Do you think it's a great movie, or do you think it's overrated? Let me know in the comments below. And as always, if you like this video, then please leave a like and subscribe to my channel so you don't miss a thing, because it helps my channel grow. Hit the notification bell so you know what other videos I'm posting. Follow me on Facebook and Instagram. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.